And then the next time I read to the kids, they said, "Tell me a story, Daddy. Make up a story." I was like, "Yeah, okay, I will. I will." So I do actually have a brilliant things list that I've always kept, and every now and again I add it. I add to it just to sort of remind myself of things that make life worth living. I suppose unfashionable reference off the back of Woody Allen's film Manhattan, when he makes that list of things that make life worth living, which back in the old days when he was a relatively uncontroversial figure, I loved that scene so much. It was so moving. And it's this list that he makes when he's feeling blue of all the things that make life worth living. And it's like the food at his favorite restaurant, a Louis Armstrong song, a painting by Cézanne. And it ends with him saying Tracy's face, this girl that he's in love with, who's much too young. But anyway, let's not get into that. Just the face of this person that he loves, and it's so moving. And so I always, after that, thought, oh yeah, I want to make a list of things that make life worth living.
So how long is your list?
It's quite long, but it's not as erudite and
Well, I tell you what, because you picked 5 things.
Yeah.
Do you want to just sprinkle before we start?
Sure.
With some of the things that didn't make the cut.
Things that didn't make the list of my favourite things.
The Great Cull.
Hovering just outside the top 10.
The Joy Cull.
Shoving a big bottle into a bottle bank and hearing it smash.
Lovely, lovely. Really, really enjoyable to do. I don't know why, but even more fun when you're abroad. And you've really gone for it on the wine and you've really give it a throw.
Yes. Yeah. Foreign bottles. Cold water when you're thirsty.
Sure.
Ooh. A smile from a stranger.
Yeah. Yeah.
It depends what stranger.
Different smiles, different strangers.
Yeah, that's true. I mean? I need to define my terms a little more.
If they're just sort of leaving a hedge, you're like... Oh.
It's not... And also, it's a nice smile. It's not like...
Yeah, okay, fine.
It's not like that.
Yes.
I just always remember when I was feeling really blue in 2021, everything was terrible, coming out of the lockdown, feeling sad still after my mum died, just feeling like all the world's problems were on my shoulders and feeling totally mad. And being on an escalator in London, coming out of the tube and someone coming down the other way. And we just locked eyes for a second and she smiled at me. And it was just a lovely, uncomplicated, friendly smile. I don't know if she maybe recognized me or something or whatever. And it was just, it made me happy. It was a moment of connection that just made me think, there you go. That's what it's all about. And it just put a pep in my step.
No, I completely get that. They're lovely. They're very fleeting. There's just a little kind of lock in. Hey,
yeah,
done.
Here we are. We're in it together.
It's like 2 dogs, just a brief sniff and on. Innit? Do you know what I mean? It's like there's no need to linger.
Exactly. Anyway, so I'll give you a few more later on if you want.
Oh, lovely.
But my first proper item that made the top spot, this is an emotional thing.
Okay.
But it's also a practical thing and may be useful for you as a young parent. This is the joy of putting my daughter to bed when she was little, specifically when she was around 5. She's now 16, and I don't read stories to her anymore at bedtime, which is sad because it was one of the best bits of being the parent of a young child for me. It's the bit I remember most fondly, I think, or one of them. Because a lot of the bits about having young children, I don't remember that fondly. I mean, there's always moments. What you're searching for, in my experience as a parent of young children, is little moments, and there are many of them, where you are blissfully happy and they're happy and you feel very lucky and connected to them. But most of the time, it's just managing chaos and destruction and fear and anxiety, yours and theirs, and it's exhausting. But bedtime, I found everything suddenly stopped. Everything was manageable. I was also looking forward to having dinner and some wine with my wife, which that was on the horizon. It was like, here we go. We've done it. The day's over. It's bedtime. So this was around 7, I think. She'd be in bed by 7:30. And I'd read her 2 or 3 short stories. When she got a bit older, I'd spend longer there, and it was Philip Pullman time, you know.
Oh,
It was
great.
his Dark
Yeah.
Materials and things like that.
Death of God.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
They're incredible books, those, because they start out very kind of sort of classic, you know, talking animals and, you know, sort of children's fantasy. And by the end of it, it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
this has got deep. Did you do all the voices?
Tried to do voices, but then sometimes, have you done an audiobook?
I've not done an audiobook, no. I've the only books I'm reading out loud are the ones to my son, and we're very much at
Jordan Peterson.
Spot the dog.
Right, yeah.
But I know what you mean. It's that there's definitely an end in sight, and when you're reading the book to your kid, and it's that lovely thing of just seeing them kind of excited by it, and you enjoy doing it. I think because of what we do, it's sort of one of those areas where you're like, I've got this.
I'm smashing this.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can't breastfeed, you know, not very good at putting him. Well, yeah,
I did try.
yeah, of course, but I'm not great at putting him to sleep. But what I do know is I can read a story.
Yeah.
And
Did you ever make up stories? Have you started like
songs? Lots of songs.
You make up songs.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah.
I don't think I can make up anything.
Like, behave yourself. What are you talking about? You've made an entire career.
Yeah, but weaving narratives. You know, that was the thing.
I'm not weaving narratives, but I'm
okay.
Like little kind of songs, and yeah.
I always remember a friend of mine talking to me about all the stories he made up for his kids, and I was like, "Holy Moses! Are you like just from nowhere?"
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, sure. Don't you do that? I was like, no. And then the next time I read to the kids, I was like, they said, "Tell me a story, Daddy. Make up a story." I was like, "Yeah, okay, I will." So there was a farm boy, and he dreamed of going to fight against the baddies, and he met a robot, and a tall gold robot and a short stubby robot, and he joined them for many, many adventures. And that was it. That's
when
all.
did this happen, Dad? Oh, it was a long time ago. And
Kids, amazing news. They've made a film out of Dad's story.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. What a terrific lie. I might do that. I might read
Set them up.
an abridged version of Star Wars so that my son's like, oh my God, Dad,
they stole your story,
George
Dad.
Lucas is an arsehole.
There's a whole empire, literally, based around your story. They've got figs and everything.
Can you remember the last book you read to your daughter?
Well, speaking of Philip Pullman, we never quite finished the last one in the series. It was a bit sad. Maybe we will, in a very poignant scene towards the end of my life, she will read to me the last section of that book.
Yeah.
And then when we get to the final page, that'll be it.
It's not a bad way
I'll
to go.
close my eyes. That's what I'm aiming for. I'll pitch that to her this weekend.
Yes.